to teach the whole process. So we begin with the narrative essay. An expert from Russia was telling me, but Gloria, why do you teach a narrative essay? It's so simple, it's so easy. Go straight to the argumentative essay. I begin with the narrative essay because when we get those students who don't know how to write, they need to begin from the very basics, okay? So what is a narrative essay? What do you do when you write a narrative essay?
A story.
A story. A story. So what's the assignment I give them? Write about a favorite memory from your childhood. Do we have any? Woo! Well, tons of those. Okay? And whose story is that one? Mine. It's like my name. The most important thing in my life is that I have a name. And that's why when we teach how to read and write to little kids, the first thing, according to the communicative approach, we teach them is identity. We teach them how to read and write using their name. Gloria. It's really difficult when we get those Stephanie, right? Because, that's hard to teach the sound. But in this case, we ask them to write about a favorite memory from their childhood. And they're engaged. They don't know how to write. How come you're asking them how to write? You have to teach them the parts of the introduction, the development, and the conclusion. So if we already know what we have in the introduction, and we already know what we have in the development, what do we have in the conclusion? How do we write conclusions? Summarizing?
Restating.
What do you summarize?
What you have mentioned in separate paragraphs.
Okay.
Points that led to your conclusion.
Okay, so what's that lead to your conclusions? What else?
Maybe that we ask them what they can learn from it. What
reflection.
came out as a
reflection, that's a different type of paper. It's not a narrative. It's a different genre. Don't forget. We have to really know the genre we're teaching. So, in a regular, so I use the narrative because it's the easiest one. Like a descriptive paper is also easy, very easy. Feelings. But the feelings, don't you think the feelings go in the development?
The resolution.
In the resolution?
Resolution of the story.
But this is not a story, it's an essay.
Probably we got lost. We're in the conclusion because some comments took us somewhere else.
Okay.
Conclusion. That's what you're
Introduction. We got the introduction. In the introduction, we have an introductory sentence, the thesis statement, and the points I'm going to develop. Supporting sentences. Development. I have the supporting sentences here that will tell me about the big picture. And then I go to the conclusion. What's the conclusion? Summarizing, restating what? What I had in the development. There are different ways to do it. Introduction, tell them what you're going to tell them. Development, tell them. Conclusion, tell them.
What you told them about.
Exactly. Tell them what you told them. Remember this. Tell them what you're going to tell them. Future. Tell them. Present. Tell them what you told them. Past. Easy. Students like that too. Okay? So, a student came to me once, and that's part of autonomy. She came to me once and she told me, you said we can do future tense here. In this essay, I am going to talk about this and this and this. And in here, you can change the tense. In this essay, I discussed, told, talked about this and this and this. Same introduction, same conclusion, different tense. Or we summarize this, and the student came to me and was like, I think I could do this and this and this. And she goes like, I think what I can do is write a sentence summarizing my essay from the last point to the first point. I went like, wow, I did my job. Critical thinking, awareness, that's what we want right away. Look, it's not what I had said. The student found out she could do it this way. And she was in the right path. Okay, so when we do that tell them what you're gonna tell them. Tell them what you told them. We can go to the hamburger. Have you seen this before?
Yes.
We can use a hamburger with the students. You can use the tell them what you're gonna tell them, or you can use a hamburger. Okay? So what I do at the beginning is I use the board a lot. So I draw the first part like this, and the second part like this. And I ask them, what do I have here? And they go, bread for hamburger, and that's fine. Okay, because it's bread. So I ask them, how does this one taste? Like bread. They go like this, like bread. How about this one? Like bread. So what do I have here? Bread. But look at the shape of this one. And look at the shape of this one. They're slightly different. Meaning that this is the introduction, and even though they have the same flavor, they're going to be slightly different. Okay? And you can find these pictures all over Google. You can Google this, the hamburger for writing, and you're going to get this one. Actually, I took this one from the internet. But this one shows you the introduction. And this one shows you the conclusion. If you eat only the bread, it's not tasty. What makes a hamburger tasty?
The pickles.
The pickles, the onions, the cheese, the tomato, the bacon, the beef, the barbecue sauce, juicy. Okay? That's what makes the essay juicy, delicious, beautiful. What's in the middle? What's in the middle? The introduction just gives us general information. The conclusion wraps it up. But the juicy part is the middle. Okay? So we teach this, if we use this to teach the students the parts of an essay, we explain, you see, this one is an explanation there. It's like, hook your audience in facts, humor, rhetorical questions, what she said. Okay? It's this, I'm going to catch the attention with the seeds on top of the bread. But then the development, you have the main ideas there, and you develop it. It's where you put the feelings. When you have an essay that makes you smell, touch, see, cry, smile, you teach your child. Okay? Because in this juicy part, we have those feelings. We have those feelings. But not every essay needs to make you cry. Okay? Because that's a type of essay. Okay, that's a type of essay. So when students understand this, sum up your speech. Make it memorable. Sum up your essay. Make it memorable. So this one, you go around, and this one can be also used for speeches. Because sometimes our speeches are written speeches. Okay, and we teach them how to do the essay first and then how to make it into speech. Okay, so when we do this, we have done our job. Because we have taught them the different parts that we have here. But, how do we do it? Okay, we need to teach them how to write it. So we give them the assignment, write about your favorite memory. And we can do an activity in the class. What's your name? Demi. Okay, Demian, and we asked for a volunteer, and our volunteer today is Demian, is going to tell us about his favorite childhood memory. All of you will have to take notes about his story. So Demian tells us about his favorite childhood memory, and we all take notes. We're teaching them how to take notes, okay, because they will need to take notes in the future for other essays. So from the very beginning, they take notes. Then at the end, we can ask the students, okay, any more details you want to know about his childhood memory? And then you ask questions. What time of the day was it? How were you dressed? Were you with your parents? Things that maybe he missed. And then we take notes. The next day when we come to classes, we write the essay. Where do we write it? On the board, all together. Okay? we all give a sentence, and then since they already know how to put sentences together, we need to make sure they're coherent. And there's cohesiveness also. Okay, we all do it together, and so if somebody makes a mistake, we all correct it. That's what happens when you write. You know, sometimes we say it's a typo. No, sometimes it's not a typo. Sometimes it's something we don't know how to spell. Okay, so in this case, we all help each other. This is collaborative writing. Okay, we're teaching them also that out there, sometimes we will have to do collaborative writing, and we'll have to use the language we're learning for negotiation. Okay, so we negotiate and we find out if it's and, or, however, what do we write there? So we write it together. Who writes it? The student. The teacher sits down. A student is up front writing it, okay? The teacher is just guiding, because we are the ones who guide the process, not the ones who do the process. Okay, this is a student-centered class. It's the communicative approach. It's collaborative writing. It's collaborative writing. So we have that there, and then they write the introduction. Once they have the introduction with the ideas, with history, we go to the development, and then we get to the conclusion. And we teach. We only intervene when we have to teach. When we have to teach. Then at the end, Damien will have his essay. Lucky him. He's the one who volunteered. He said he could share the story, and then we wrote an essay for him. Then the rest of you will have to write your own essay. He wrote his essay. And we can do that all the time, okay? Kind of like work with the students in the classroom and making it interactive. After you write the narrative essay, we go to what we need to learn, okay? We go to the argumentative paper. Okay, I call them papers, I call them essays, you know, sometimes I call them compositions. Okay, so we go to the argumentative paper. This is more difficult than the narrative essay, okay? Because in here, there is an opinion that needs to take place. The argumentative paper can be an opinion paper, or can be an argument we need to do research for, because we need to find evidence. We need to show facts. We need to show statistics. We need to have a counterpoint, okay? A counter argument. And to have a counter argument, we need to do research. APA, MLA. Because when they go and find information from other sources, they need to cite the sources. Okay, this is very academic. But you will go like, yeah, but the students I get, you know, they're here because they want to be promoted. Yeah, and sometimes they write reports. And sometimes they need to get statistics. And they need to cite the statistics, so this doesn't hurt anybody. Even though this is academic, this is also for the workplace. Because at the workplace, they need to write papers that are learned in academia. Okay? So you show them how to cite the source. And you show them that their opinion is not given such as, I believe that, I think that. No. So and so believes that education could be different if we do this and this and this. That's my opinion using a source. When we use evidence, our paper is strong. And when we send those students to universities abroad, they know how to write papers. And then you get that email you really like. I want to thank you, teacher, for teaching me how to write. You go like that, I did a job. Okay? Some of them don't say thank you. And don't expect thank yous from everybody. But some of them will write you an email, and they will go like, I just done my first paper. Read the comments that my teacher gave me. And that's really, 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 really exciting. Okay? You did your job. But look at all you have to do your job. Okay? I did this in 2.5 years. And sometimes you just have 5 weeks. Okay? In 5 weeks, you cannot teach 13 papers. Maybe in 5 weeks, if you do multiple drafts, all you'll be able to do is the narrative paper. You don't have to do 10 papers. One paper you do and you do it and you teach it well, you did your job. The narrative paper, because the argumentative paper has an introduction, a development, and a conclusion. And it follows the same criteria. the introduction tells what the essay is going to be about, and the conclusion is tell them what you told them. Okay, it's the same idea. So if you teach them how to write the narrative paper, they will get to the argumentative paper, and the same pattern is going to be helpful for all the types of paper. When do they become autonomous? They become autonomous when you tell them, okay, now you have to write biography. And they don't come to you for instructions for little things, but they go and they do their own research. And there are different papers they can write, and there are different things they can do in the classroom. However, you need to know what you're asking for. Then in that case, what you do is you give the assignment in writing. Don't tell them, bring me an argumentative paper tomorrow. No. You give the assignment in writing, and you tell them, an argumentative paper of this sort is this and this and this. And in this paper, I want to see. What do you want to see in a paper? Good use of the second language. Good use of mechanics. That you follow ABA conventions. That you do this and this. You tell them what you're going to see. Because then when you get the paper, you start kind of like inventing things. And if you don't like a student, you invent more things. No, we love all our students. So we give them what we want them to show in the paper, and we tell them what we're going to be evaluating. Okay? We tell them what we're going to be evaluating. Those prompts are really important. Never, ever give a student an essay if it's not an assignment for an essay if it's not in writing. If we're teaching writing, we practice writing. Okay? We teach in writing, we know what we're doing. We know what we're doing. After the argumentative paper, many other papers came, and this one is an example of what I do when I give them the paper. So the argumentative essay is a general writing, and I tell these ones, and I do this. Okay, and this is Miss Dallas. I'm missing an E right here. Okay, Purdue University. Where can you get these explanations? Go to any writing center site. Southern Illinois University Writing Center, Kansas University Writing Center, Iowa has like 14 writing centers, so you can go to any of the writing centers. This is the online writing lab that belongs to Purdue. It's really good, it's very good, so you can get the different explanations right there. You don't need to remember them all, but you need to know what they're about. So if you go to this site and you go to this one, they will tell you how to write the argumentative paper. It's also a learning experience for the teacher. It's also a learning experience for the teacher, but you always give the students, the main concept. And from the argumentative paper, you can get those ones. Okay? Responses to articles. We might know how to write one. Then go and look at it. Don't go to those essays that write. Go to academic sites. Go to writing academic sites, and you will find that. Business letters is another genre. Okay, business letters is another genre. How do you do this? Like business letters is easy. It's really easy to teach. You have a format that is given to you, and how do we do it? Well, how to write a letter applying for a job. Make it meaningful. If the students you have are there because they want to be promoted, this letter has to be a letter like a job application. But if the students you have here want to go study abroad, ask them to do some research and to do research about universities, programs they want to study, and then ask them to apply to those universities. My students that went to the States, they had already seen those universities, and they had done a letter in the class, applying, for the programs in those universities. So what they did is that they just revised the letter and they sent it. Okay, responding to business letters. You go like, can you respond to a business letter? Yeah, if you receive a letter, when we say business letter, we're talking about a format. Okay, the business letter format. So if you receive a letter, you have to send an answer back. So what my students did is like they walked around and they found different problems on campus. Parking spots, classrooms, bathrooms. And they sent a letter to the person in charge of those particular spaces. And they were like, yeah, we need more parking spots. We don't have enough places for this. We don't have this. You should do this. But if you should, they were supposed to think about it. And it was like, okay, we need more parking spots. So what do we need to build more parking spots? Yeah, we have to go and cut down all the trees downtown. Oh yeah, but you know, that's destruction to the environment. You're affecting others. So how can you have a solution that will not affect somebody else? So they were like, oh gosh, that's hard. They're thinking. They're not just writing, they're thinking. Once they wrote the letters, you know, and the prompt says, suggest a solution that will not cause another problem. So it's difficult. Because then you have to see, yeah, but this one causes this and this one. Then when they got those problems, they brought the letters. And I told them, okay, now you have to switch places. If you're sending the president of the university a letter, now you become the president of the university and you send a response back. Ah, they didn't like that. It's easy to say to my problem and you fix it, but it's not easy to fix that problem. But they learned that, you know, that suggestion needed to receive an answer. And with the answer, they also needed to think about tone of language. Because when they were writing the letter to the university, they were using one tone of the language. But when they were responding to the letter, they were using a different tone. The first one was, I'm submitted. But the second one was, I am up here. I am an authority. Okay? So they learned that when we also write any of these, the tone we use is very important. Okay? Library research report, project report, analysis papers, summaries, and research reports. They all have their own format. That's why they're different genres. But at the end, when my students got to this one, they were very good writers. They were very good writers. They got very good comments on their papers, you know, in the States, and they knew how to decide what they wanted to do. And they graduated with high honors at the university. It was not only in my class, they would always send, like if they came to a class and received the syllabus, they would look at the syllabus